Jesus was sacrificed on the regions of Mount Moriah. Interesting, in the exact same area that Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac. But last minute, the angel said, no, you're fine. You've proven your loyalty to our Creator. So, interesting. Perhaps Jesus was right on the same spot. Could you imagine, in the exact same area? You can't make this stuff up. It's so beautiful how the Creator of the universe has everything in his control. Right down to maybe saying, yeah, it's in the exact same spot as Isaac was going to be sacrificed. But I provided a ram for the sacrifice. However, Jesus became the final and ultimate lamb that was to be sacrificed. Go figure. It's been 2,000 years. You don't hear of any sacrifices in Jerusalem, do you? So it's exciting. We're living in exciting times. But that points to something. Every 2 millennia, there's a time date that gets stamped, and it occurs definitely on the divine timeline, because big, monumental, important moments in human history every 2,000 years. Will Jesus return to earth after 2,000 years? Literally? Why does the 2,000 years keep repeating? Our Creator is outside of our time domain. Why does he choose to use our earthly years of pattern? Is it just pure coincidence? I don't think so. The countdown to the final hour, 2,000 years, must have started ticking when Jesus was crucified on the cross on the regions of Mount Moriah. Could it be when Jesus cried out with a loud voice, "It is finished"? The clock of the divine timeline started ticking for his return back to earth? Could it be when Jesus declared it was finished, it all began? It all started with, "It is finished"? Well, then we have to ask ourselves, what was finished? What was accomplished on the cross? What had just transpired? The answer is quite profound. What just occurred was that the cure for man's heart just became available. And man has a sin disease, a sin of the heart. It's something that Adam and Eve started. Those who chose to receive the cure for their heart disease, so to speak, could be healed spiritually. The remedy for man's broken relationship with his Creator had just became available for all mankind. Men and women severed their relationship with their Creator because of their disobedience. It took place in a garden called Eden. You can read all about it in the first book of the Bible, called Genesis, in chapter 2. The first couple, Adam and Eve, of the pure new bloodline, chose to disobey their Maker's decree. They were told that they could eat the fruit of all the trees in the garden except for only one. If you eat from that fruit, you will start aging and eventually die. The Creator proclaimed, "Do not eat from the fruit of that tree." They had free will and yet deliberately chose to eat from the forbidden fruit. Because of their flagrant disobedience, they started aging and dying. They contracted a sin disease, if you will. They were also banished from the garden because of their disobedience. Now they had to work by the sweat of their brow for food. No longer will they be in the garden, just reaching up, grabbing their food from the delicious fruit trees. That happened many, many thousands of years ago. And 4,000 years later, and finally now, Jesus became the antidote or cure for all of us on a Roman cross on the regions of Mount Moriah. He had royal blood. That was the only remedy powerful enough to cure and forgive our sins. He also had to conquer death. History records that he did rise at the beginning of the third day, just as he said he would. And over 500 people witnessed him alive. They were witnesses to confirm that Jesus was walking around eating and drinking. And so Jesus was very much alive and well in 33 AD. Josephus, the historian, also wrote about the excitement in the air as many profess seeing Jesus alive again. After 40 days, another number repeating, 40 days, I love it. From his resurrection on the Jewish festival of Pentecost, Jesus said, I will come back again for you through the eastern gate in Jerusalem on the Mount of Olives. Then he started his ascension into the clouds on the Mount of Olives. His disciples were astonished and kept looking up in the sky. While they were all still looking up in amazement, just frozen, all of a sudden there appeared two angelic beings dressed in a shiny white glow. They said, Hey, men of Galilee, what do you stand and stare at the sky? This same Jesus will come again for you in like manner at this vortex on the Mount of Olives. The followers of Jesus had no idea that that proclamation would be a 2,000 years in the making proclamation. That short verse in the Bible spanned 2 millennia of time on the divine timeline. Having an infinite perspective, Jesus in his wisdom designed it so that throughout the ages, those who love him will always be in a state of watching and waiting in readiness. We all are anticipating his soon return for 2,000 years now. We do not know the hour or the day of his return, and so we wait expectantly for him. Jesus encouraged all of us to be prepared to meet him in the air. That means there has to be some specific preparation. I wonder what that means. In Matthew 24, Jesus wanted all of us to be vigilantly watching and waiting for his return. He wanted us to be in a constant, excited state of anticipation with an I cannot wait to see you, Jesus attitude. Will this be the day that you're going to come for me? Infinite wisdom to design it that way and not set any dates, because human beings, they'll do everything at the last minute, and that's not the game plan that was designed. We were designed to spread the good news and help others prepare and get ready for his soon return. Jesus instructed his followers and all of us today. Just before he ascended into heaven, he gave his final directive or mandate. He said, go into all the world and make disciples of all men. His last instructions to his disciples, and to us now as well, should be our first main priority today. We need to be passionate in spreading the good news with everyone. We are all specifically instructed to make disciples of all human beings. He did not say this mandate to Jewish high priests, the Pharisees, and the rabbi teachers or religious leaders. He gave his instructions to simple fishermen like Peter and his followers. Jesus also was aware of us today and included you and I personally to be actively involved in making disciples of all mankind. He said that all authority in heaven was given to him, and now he is passing that authority to us. To us? Yeah, he's allowing all of us to participate in sharing the good news of the gospel. The kingdom of heaven is now at hand and available to all who are willing to receive his gift. We cannot be confused about our understanding of this important directive that Jesus gave us. We need boldness like never before, trusting and believing Jesus for his soon return. He promised that he would return for you and I. He gave us his word, and his word is good. It is to be counted on. He's batting over 1,000%. Everything he said came true. He said he'd come back for us, and it's going to be soon. All he asked of us was to share the good news and make disciples. Just to be watching and waiting? Could it be that simple? Surely there's got to be more stuff that we can earn our way into the kingdom of heaven. Nope. Jesus made it pretty clear. I'm not going to bog you down with all these burdens of religious stuff that the rabbis and the priests and all of them back in his day were putting on it. He said, no, I have come here to fulfill that old law, but here's the new law, and I'm not going to burden you down with a bunch of stuff. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. I want you to love me with all your heart, soul, and mind, like I love you with all my heart, soul, and mind. And then spread the good news. Tell everyone what I did for you personally. And that's it. It's that simple. Yes, I know we all have complicated lives, but really, to spread the good news is easy, especially now with this technology. I mean, I'm talking to you, thousands of people all over the world, and I'm just sharing. So you could use this and then pass it on to someone. You don't even have to say a word. You can be spreading the good news just by forwarding this message to someone that you care about. So we just have to be prepared and ready to go at any time now. Soon we will disappear in the twinkling of an eye. We need to finish strong and be found faithful at his coming in the air. Those who love Jesus will be uploaded into the clouds very soon, living our lives to our fullest potential, living the best life, prayerfully waiting and anticipating his coming. Jesus also declared that for those who did not prepare, he will come as a thief in the night. So being prepared is the key factor. In Matthew chapter 24, Jesus asked his disciples, he was asked by his disciples, tell us, Jesus, when will this happen, and what will the sign of your coming at the end of the age be? So then the rest of chapter 24 is dealing with a specific response Jesus gave his followers who asked that question. Jesus said that in the last days, this gospel or good news of the kingdom will be preached to the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. The terms that Jesus used are last days and end of the age. What an interesting choice of words. They actually describe the tail end of things for humanity on a divine timeline. There is an appointed time on that divine timeline that the end will come. After all the nations will hear about the good news of Jesus and his kingdom of heaven, then the end will come. There has been 2,000 years of gospel being preached to all nations. Finally, now in our lifetime, we can truly say the gospel of the kingdom has been preached to all nations, even to the ends of the earth with the latest social media and technology that we can reach the ends of the earth. Through the invention of the internet, we are now able to reach all four corners of earth instantly through our smartphones. In the palm of our hands, we have a computer. Well, I like to call it a good news spreading machine. We can go online and share the good news with a complete stranger on the other side of the planet. We are proclaiming to everyone in their own language the great news about Jesus and his kingdom and the forgiveness of sin. People can hear from us through social media platforms. Only in the last 100 years can we say that truly we have witnessed most of the greatest inventions of all times, all the new created technology at our disposal, the likes of which we've never seen before. We didn't even imagine it. This new technology was absolutely necessary for certain prophecies to even being capable of being fulfilled. Now more than ever in recorded history, our generation is the closest to his return. Only now we can say that we are actually living in the last days as described in the prophetic scriptures. We have never been closer to his return than right now. Why, we may see this coming of the Son of Man in the clouds very soon. It is definitely right there in the appointed date on the divine timeline. we may be the humans that will not physically experience death. In the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 4 declares that the last trumpet sounds, we will be caught up to meet Jesus in the air. Last trumpet? Perhaps referring to the Feast of Trumpets? Can you imagine the bragging rights we will have in heaven? Oh yeah, but our bodies never experienced death. We never died a physical death. In the twinkling of an eye, we were all gone. Gravity did not apply to us. We were uploaded into the cloud. Are you ready?